Barriers to Business Progression series, session 4. What I'd like to talk about in this session is the notion of virtue, and virtue as an attribute of a leader, and how important virtue is in a leader, and what is virtue, and how does that impact on the relationships within an organisation, within a business. The point I think here in terms of a barrier to business progression is that so often, because we are constrained by operational timelines, deadlines, commercial pressure for paying salaries, for getting product to a certain standard, that the stress and the worry and the fear of not achieving those things can bring up in people the darker side of our character. People can be impatient, they can be unkind, they can feel that pressure to deliver, that pressure to behave in a certain way in order to retain their salary, in order to make sure tasks get done really well. And what tends to happen is this can be an undermining effect on the quality of relationships within an organisation, within a business, because the stress and the strain means that people don't treat each other properly. So I think that as an antidote to that, I think as a community, we need to start focusing on, what is virtuous about what we do in the business, in our organisation, in our working lives. Why are we doing it? That, from a perspective of what good are we doing? And how do we feel? Do we feel fulfilled in what we are doing? And to put our attention on, if you like, the good side of human nature. Because as the saying goes, what you focus on grows. And so often in work, we focus on things that frustrate us. We focus on things that are disappointing to us. We focus on things that we are failing at doing or that need improving. And I think at the same time, what we need to do is bring balance into consciously focusing on what is the good we're trying to achieve, and how do we cultivate virtue in ourselves and in others in the delivery of doing good, creating good services, creating products which add positive value to the world that we live in. So I think the issue of virtue is something that is understated. I think that in the past, being kind, being patient, being generous, all of these qualities are, you can often be perceived as being naive if you do those things. And therefore, it's not fashionable. It's almost more fashionable to be tough, to be ruthless, to be brutal, to be, competitive, to be aggressive. All of those things seem to be attributes that are held in high esteem within business, because that's what you have to do in order to be successful, in order to get the acknowledgement and recognition from your peers. So what I'm saying is actually that may have been necessary in building the rebuilding economies and industry because of what's happened through the wars and through the lack of economic infrastructure. But as we're stabilising out with the degree of sustainable infrastructure, we need to start looking more at not what we do, but how we do it and how we treat one another, and to be vigilant of when economy and the pressure to develop economy can undermine the quality of human relationships and the reasons why we create the products in the first place, which were hopefully to do some good, to help other people, to be in service to other people through the businesses that we're running. So the barrier that I see here is the lack of focus on defining our businesses around the good it does. And therefore, anything that undermines our ability to do good and to behave in ways which cultivates virtue in ourselves and others, then this is something we need to flag up and we need to challenge and we need to prevent from happening. So the lack of focus on virtue is one of the barriers that I think now needs to gain more significant attention.